What's up, y'all? So this will be the first episode to a series that I'm doing on my channel called Lightism Awareness. And so in this episode, we'll be talking about the mediocre light skin trope. So the Lightism Awareness series is intended to shed light on the specific plight and experiences of light skinned and mixed Black women. I actually don't see a lot of light-skinned women advocating for other light-skinned women specifically. They'll advocate for other groups specifically, but not themselves. And I find that really interesting. You should defend and speak up for all Black women, but you should also speak up for yourself as well. You shouldn't have a cape on for every other group and then be silent on stuff that faces your group. And so even part of what I preach on my channel with divestment is not being a mule and burning the cape and not, caping for anybody or, putting anybody over yourself. And so the same goes for light-skinned women as well. A lot of time when light-skinned and mixed women talk about their experiences, they are like invalidated or downplayed by other Black people, and a lot of times other light-skinned women too will be the loudest ones trying to shut the light-skinned women down. I find that very interesting. So because we are gaslit a lot by our own people, it's also we tend to doubt ourselves and doubt our experiences. And for a long time, I was doubting myself and doubting my own experiences as well. But I used the tools around me, aka the internet. And for the first time, we have the internet. And I was able to see and hear other light-skinned Black women talking about their experiences that were the same as mine. And I'm like, okay, so I'm not crazy. And this is why I talk so much about validating other Black women's experiences. You'd be surprised how far that goes to bring them to sovereignty, deliverance, divestment, whatever the case is. Because thinking you're crazy is what will hold you in Blackistan, keep staying in these crabs in a bucket, counterproductive, anti-Black woman progressing mentalities. When you don't have a name or a description for something, it's hard to express what you're experiencing. So the definition of lightism is assumptions, bullying, animosity, resentment, and or ostracization of Black people of a lighter skin hue. My priority is Black women of all shades. This is not a colorism platform. I honestly want to get away from Black women talking about race and color and features and all that. So I advocate for women of African descent putting our image and our self and our physical, mental, and spiritual health first, and divesting from these counterproductive, non-beneficial to Black women type mindsets. That's why I'm doing this series on my channel, to spread awareness about the experiences of light-skinned and mixed Black women, because we do have our own unique experiences and story in relation to our Blackness and our womanhood. So I do support the egg towel movement, and I found out about it through Exoticals United's YouTube page, so shout out to her. With that, I do believe that mixed and light-skinned people should have our own spaces to talk about our issues and uplift our image, as well as beginning to develop our own identity. And I also think that light-skinned and mixed Black women should embrace every single part of their identity and stop letting people force them into a box. We should be able to identify how we choose without others trying to define and police us. And last but not least, for us to go where we're appreciated. Stop trying to fit in with spaces where you're clearly unwelcome and unwanted, and stop letting Blackistan condition you into believing that Black males are entitled to you, because they're not. It doesn't matter how many years they've been putting that message in their music. You have free will to go wherever you want. You are not entitled to them. You do not belong to them. And you loving your Blackness is not determined by what color dick you lay up with. So don't let Blackistan condition you into believing that you're not Black enough if you're not with a Black male. So this series is just here to provide some counter narratives to all that. So let's get into the topic. This first episode is about the mediocre light skin trope. And so the mediocre light skin trope is used to downplay the talent, likability, or success of a light-skinned Black woman, and by basically alluding to or explicitly saying that this woman is only in the position or achieved the success that they did because they are light skinned. So this completely throws out the fact that they are still black, they are still female, they still probably have African features. And I felt like this was an interesting topic to start with because I see this narrative being put out a lot. Like, the mediocre light skin trope has become a real talking point, and it's just a way to downplay their talent and work ethic and just critique them, and also to just basically say, oh, well, you only got that because you're light skinned, you only got that because you're pretty, just to downplay what you've gotten. They do this to all black women just generally. There are some women in the media that are mediocre light-skinned black women. Yes. Are there some women in the media that are mediocre white women? Yes. Are there mediocre dark-skinned women in the media? Yes. Clearly, they're highlighting this aspect for some reason. And it's to explain away your success, because for some reason Blackistan is obsessed with proving to light-skinned people that they have it so much easier because they're constantly in the oppression Olympics. And it's just honestly just annoying. For example, people are literally always saying that Beyonce can't sing, she's not that talented, she's overhyped. They're just always downplaying what type of performer she is, completely ignoring the fact that she designs her whole performance, she coordinates, she songwrites, she does mad shit, but they're still sitting up here saying she's not all that, she's overhyped simply because she's a light-skinned woman. But if she was a dark-skinned woman, they would give her flowers just because. And there are plenty of mediocre dark-skinned women that they hype up all the time, and I'm not complaining about that because I hype them up too. It's whatever. I just like seeing black women get in a bag. That's not a problem for me, but that's because I'm not a hater. A lot of these women that are engaging in lightism are haters. That's what it is. And not only will they hate on light-skinned women, they'll hate on other dark-skinned women too. So they're just haters. That's really what it is. Beyonce is talented. Get over it. Are there a lot of light-skinned women in the media? Could there be a better representation of blackness in the media? Yes. But why can't we walk and chew gum? They say that Zendaya is always getting roles, that Zendaya is not all that they just like her because she's light-skinned and how she looks. She's very light-skinned. People will say she's white and that she's almost white passing, and that's why she's successful. Zendaya is very talented. Zendaya is a very good actor. Zendaya and Beyonce are both very talented women, and they embrace their blackness and they don't shy away from it. So it's really no reason for Blackistan to be talking about them the way that they do. Not only that, but both Zendaya and Beyonce have spoken out about colorism in Hollywood and anti-blackness, and they've given opportunities to and open doors for a vast variety of different types of black people. And even then, people will still shade them because they're light-skinned black women, and always have to throw in light skin privilege anytime they're talking about their success. That's why the light skin privilege talking point I just roll my eyes. The light skin privilege talking point is extremely overused, and because the light skin privilege talking point is overused is why we have the mediocre light skin talking point. How does any black person have room to be mediocre in America? Let's be real. And we all know that black women work our asses off, no matter if we're on the darker side of the spectrum or in the lighter side of the spectrum. Black women work hard. We all know that. So I don't understand why other black women are sitting here discrediting our accomplishments. It's silly. Not only are they women, but they're black, so they're a double minority. So they're gonna have to work 2 times and 3 times as hard as their white counterparts, because Hollywood favors whiteness, not light-skinned black people. So again, it's fighting over crumbs. Why do you have this idea in your head that them being a light-skinned black woman tramples all of those other hurdles that they're gonna have to jump through, as if other races of women that aren't black and don't have blackness won't get chosen over them? Are you serious? So while I was making this video, I stumbled across an excellent video made by a YouTube channel called Multiracial Movement, and I will be linking this video in the description box below. Make sure to watch her whole video, like it, and subscribe to her channel if you like that type of content. But she was literally talking about this exact same thing, and I just thought it was crazy because I thought I was the only person who had noticed this mediocre light skin talking point. And so this is why I talk about why it's so important for us to validate each other's experiences. experiences. She did a great job explaining this, and so I wanted to just play a little clip of what she said. It's a really short video, so I really encourage you to watch the entire video. So you guys check out this clip.
Well said, Black women should always dissociate themselves from the toxic, mediocre, light-skinned woman who oftentimes thinks they're cuter than they really are. If your friends don't uplift you, walk away. I just don't understand how they're always saying we think that, we're cuter than what we are. They're always calling us the mediocre light-skinned woman and the tragic mulatto and just all of these crazy, obviously racial slurs. And they continue to tell us that we think we're better, we think we're cuter, and we just continue to rebuttal and say, oh, no, we don't. But I feel like that's not enough. Like, we have to actually show the proof. It's mediocre light skin. If we were out here calling dark-skinned women the tragic dark skin syndrome or like something crazy like that, it would be an uproar of just melanated protection, and there's nothing wrong with that. But when roles are flipped, we don't have that protection, and we can't even express our experiences without somebody feeling threatened. And when they are in their own spaces, this is how they're speaking about us. And it just needs to be recognized, because it's absolutely ridiculous. Because if we did the same, channels get taken down, people get called colorist, people get called racist. But when they do this, everybody just pats them on the back and applauds them. Meanwhile, nothing actually changes for them. People are just like, yeah, you're right. But nothing actually changes, or they still wouldn't be crying about these same issues.
So you guys just heard that clip and you saw those tweets. And so I just find it really interesting that these women spend more time complaining about what light-skinned Black women are getting or achieving, or what certain positions we are given, instead of complaining about all the mediocre white and non-Black women that are doing the same thing. Because the entertainment industry, the job market is literally littered with mediocre white and non-Black women that do not work even half as hard as light-skinned and mixed women have to. But I just kind of don't like that the experiences of light-skinned and mixed women are being talked about as if we are dark-skinned white women. Like, that's literally how sometimes it sounds when certain women of our own group are talking about us, and I don't understand that. Like, yes, we understand the dynamics of skin tone and color within the world and the black community, but like to be always directing that towards other women and shading other women, and even going as far to act differently towards other black women based on their skin tone. Because not only do I see this in person, I've experienced this myself, so this is something that is a real thing that happens. You can't sit here and complain about white people's anti-blackness and racism, but then you have weird little anti-black sentiments towards light-skinned people, because lightism is anti-black sentiments. Because what you'll see a lot of the time is that these same people that will have all the smoke for light-skinned and mixed black people, they'll love Japanese culture, they'll love K-pop, they'll love white culture, they'll love white people, they'll hang out with white people all day, but they'll have all the smoke towards a biracial girl, they'll have all the smoke towards a light-skinned black person. It's definitely a pathology and a mindset to a lot of lightest black people, and that's why I made the term lightism. The ism in lightism is a suffix added to the end of a word to indicate the word represents a specific practice, system, or philosophy. Often these practices, systems, or philosophies, or political ideologies, or artistic movements. Because these little sly comments and sentiments towards light-skinned people are coming from a specific mindset, because all people who aren't light-skinned do not think like this. There is a certain sector of the black community that even some light-skinned people think like this. So it just is what it is. It's not all, but it's many people. And it really stems from a crabs in the barrel mentality, because they're always trying to find a way to get ahead of or be better than another black person. So if it's not finding skin color to discredit why you're successful, it's talking about where you're from, it's talking about your socioeconomic status, it's talking about your parents' marital status. Like, Blackistan is always using something to devalue and elevate another black person over another black person, and colorism and lightism are just different elements of that. A lot of lightest black people are trying to elevate dark skin above light skin, because they only feel better if they are elevated above somebody. They feel inferior because they're not elevated above somebody. They don't genuinely want blackness uplifted. They want their type of blackness uplifted so that they're over black people who look different from them. So some people are just insecure in that way. Blackistan is going to look for a reason to hate on a black woman no matter what shade she is. And there's a huge issue with insecurity and hateration in the so-called black community, and nobody wants to address it. So they put on this super fake pride type of just this phony pride that they have, when in actuality they're just extremely insecure. And you can see it based on all of the little sneak nasty shit that they say about each other, and just all of the little passive aggressive stuff they say or do to black women of all shades, but especially light skinned women. They're extremely passive aggressive towards us, and it's very obvious that a lot of them have animosity towards us for no reason. Black people like me, I don't want to be elevated above anybody else, nor do I want anybody put under me, I don't want other black people to want to be elevated over people who look like me. I don't want it either way, because I'm not a fucking hater, and I'm not insecure, and I don't have an inferiority complex about my blackness. So when I hear another black woman calling a light-skinned woman mediocre, I don't even take it personal. I just know that person is an insecure hater, because if you genuinely cared about people being mediocre and getting opportunities, you'd be directing all of this smoke towards Becky, because they're the queens of getting praised for being mediocre. They've been getting praised for being mediocre for the past 500-600 years. I don't see any tweets about them though. So clearly you're not really that pressed about people being mediocre. You just don't want to see black women that are light skinned being mediocre and getting praised. And a lot of the times the women that they're calling mediocre are not even mediocre. They're just being haters. And that's how you know that they're just being haters, because they don't have any of this smoke towards actual mediocre people. So I'm not advocating for any woman to hate on any other woman. I don't think you should give a rat's ass about what Becky's doing. Just like I don't think you should care about what light-skinned black women are doing. I don't think you should be looking over other people's plates, seeing what they're doing and comparing and contrasting. I don't think that people should be, especially not women, I don't think we should be comparing ourselves to each other. So I don't think it's healthy when these darker skinned women make these posts about light skinned women, not because they're talking about women that look like me, but because it's just not healthy for your mental health and self image to constantly be comparing yourself to someone that does not look like you. Talking about how a light skinned woman is mediocre or how she only got that because she's mixed is not helping your situation, even if it's true and she did get that opportunity because of that. How is that helping you sitting on Twitter projecting this inferiority complex type message onto Twitter, and other little black girls who are darker skin and lighter skin are going to see these tweets and internalize that? So you guys get in the comment section and let me know what you think about this. If you are a light skin or mixed black woman, let me know if you've ever been called mediocre. Have you ever had people downplay your success or your talent and you feel like it was connected to your phenotype? And also comment any lightism awareness topics you'd possibly like me to do in the future. LMK, what you think? Peace.